guys, welcome back. So today I have another video on how I manage my household, and today I'm going to be talking about my planners and organizers. For me, home management is all about organization. So I have a few systems in place to help myself and my family stay organized. For one, I use my personal planner. I also use a home management binder, and we have a family command center. So today I'll be showing you how I use these three areas and how it helps us stay organized and how it helps me manage our household. Okay, so here is our family command center. Basically, a family command center is an area in your home that your family can come to see what's going on for the week, the meals that you're having, any important paperwork that needs to be looked at, signed, mailed, etc. can be in one general area. So I have designed this family command center based on our needs. The products that I use are Erin Condren products. I will link them below. I'm not being sponsored in any way. I just found these products to be helpful in setting up my vision of our family command center. So up here we have this is the functional family system from Erin Condren, and this is really what helps us stay organized as a family throughout the week. So over here in this column just says to do, and this is where my husband lists all of his to-dos for the week. I have my own personal planner for all of my to-dos, but my husband likes to use this area to just generate a list for himself, and he can cross it off as things get done. Now this section over here that says Monday through Sunday, that's where we just list anything going on for the week as far as appointments, events, school activities, anything like that gets listed on the appropriate date in that column. And then the boxes below that right here, that's just where we list our meals for the day. So that's very helpful when planning out your day. If there are meals that I need to prep during the day, I can easily do that. If a family member is curious as to what we're having for dinner, they can look there rather than asking me 20 million times a day. It's also helpful if I'm out, say, running errands and my husband wants to get dinner started early, he can look on the board and get that started. It's helpful for me when I need to pull things out of the freezer. I know what we need to pull out in order to be thawed for a certain day. So it's helpful in a lot of different ways. This list pad over here is where we just keep an ongoing list for things that we need to get at the store. So if we run out of shampoo or tissues or paper towels or you name it, we can just put that on the list, and when I'm getting ready to go to the store, I can just look at that and know what I need to get. Over here, this is actually one of their dividers for their notebooks, and I'm just using it as basically just a whiteboard. So right now, with it being summertime, and all of the kids being at home, we're using it to list our family rules, expectations for our children, and then the consequences if those rules are broken. So that way we're all staying on the same page throughout the summer, and the kids all know what is expected of them. Now down here is where I have, again, these are just dividers from Erin Condren. The clipboards were just kind of too expensive, so I just made my own little area here using magnetic clips and then dividers with their names on them. And this is where we keep any paperwork that pertains to each child. So school schedules, activities as far as field trips, sports schedules, anything like that. So anything that needs to pertain to that child gets put up here, and it's just everybody knows where it is. We're not looking for things, and it's just an easy way to keep all of our paperwork organized. So creating a family command center for you and your family really can help the entire family get on board, know what is coming for the week ahead, what meals are going to be planned out, and it really helps our family just stay organized as a whole. Okay, so another tool that we use to help our family stay organized and to help myself run and manage our household is our home management binder. Now, I've gone back and forth on using this. I tried to have all this information in my personal planner, and it just wasn't working out. I wanted a separate binder that I could hand off to my husband, to a babysitter, to a family member, and they could essentially know exactly how to run our household smoothly. It's also a great tool for myself, my husband, to have all that information on hand. So how I set it up, I have a pocket in here, a binder pocket, and I usually just have stamps, our checkbook, pens, and a pencil just right at hand there. Now, all the inserts that you will see here, other than the ones that I made, but that will be quite obvious because they're nowhere near as pretty, all the inserts are from an Etsy shop called Clean Life and Home, and I'll link her shop below. She has some amazing amazing planners and printouts and binder inserts to keep you and your family organized. So I have purchased the home management, I believe that's what it's called, set. Now I did print out new pages just because I didn't want our personal information out there on social media. So these are the inserts that I use and exactly how I have it set up. They're just blank for privacy purposes. So what I did is I just bought some dividers, and the dividers each have a pocket in the front, which I really like to utilize for different reasons. So the first section here is just sort of like a miscellaneous section. All the things that you would need, the emergency contact information, contact numbers, that sort of schedules, that sort of thing. So usually in this front pocket, I have my kids' school schedules. So the days that their schools are going to be closed, the half days, vacations that are scheduled, that sort of thing. I have that right on hand. I do later on put all of those dates into my personal planner, but I like having the hard copy of their school schedule right here in our home management binder. Again, I just took it out for privacy reasons, but that's where that goes. The first insert here is our emergency information. So this is really great, again, if someone were to be watching our children or to, just have a family member, a babysitter, that sort of thing. So it has our contact information at the top. So my husband and I's phone number and our names and all of that, address. And then the second box here is for medical contact information. So it just has the doctor, the hospital, urgent care, dentist, pharmacy, poison control, and other. So again, that's really great information to just have on hand, even for my husband and I, just so we can flip to this page in case of emergency and know exactly which numbers to call. We also have family contact information, which again is really helpful if we have somebody watching our children and there's an emergency and for some reason can't reach us. There is contact information listed right there, so they can just go down the list and call the numbers that are listed. We also have some neighbor contact information, which again I find very helpful because there have been times where I've had to call the neighbors for different reasons, and I can just flip to this and have their phone number listed right there, and then a box for other information. So that would be a nice spot to write any notes for the babysitter or that sort of thing. The next page is where we keep all of our insurance information, so our medical insurance information and dental insurance information. And I find this very helpful for myself personally, just because there are some times where you're on the phone with the insurance company and they ask for your subscriber number or even to the pharmacy or a doctor or whatever, and it's just nice to be able to flip to this page and have all that information listed right there. This is our family medication info, and my husband and I'm on some allergy medications, and I also have an EpiPen, and my husband, he has asthma, so he takes some inhalers. So this is nice to have the medications that are listed right there. So again, in case my husband did have a severe asthma attack and I needed to call 911 or something like that, I can have all of his medication information right there on hand. Same with myself. If I'm in a need where I need, having a severe allergic reaction, my husband can have all of my medication information listed right there. It's also helpful if any of my children are on antibiotics or anything like that. I can list the medication that they're on, the dosage, and how often they should get it, so that way there's no question. The next insert is important numbers. I find this extremely helpful. I don't know what it is, but I always forget to log in like the cable and oil and utilities and all of that into my phone, the phone numbers. So this is so helpful for me just to flip to this page and have all the numbers in one spot. So the first section is repair and maintenance. Utility inspection is the next one. Services such as cable, internet, phone, all that goes here, and then schools and activities go here. So again, it's just so helpful to have that information on hand. The next one is our important school information. So again, basically the same thing. It just has all of our school information, numbers, websites, that sort of thing. Student information, so when they have lunch and if they had a locker, which my kids don't at this time, but if they did, their teacher information, grade, that sort of thing. And then bus information, school holidays, which I honestly don't really utilize because I do keep their schedule right in front, but it is nice to have that, and then any notes down below. And then this is our auto maintenance log. So again, I am always forgetting when we last did an oil change. I know they put the sticker on your dashboard or window, but sometimes it fades from the sun and I'm like, oh my gosh, when are we due for an oil change? So this is great because I can just keep track of all of that. I can keep track of any maintenance that our cars have had and when we had it done and all of that. So this is nice to keep track of that. And then I do have this babysitter information sheet, which is nice to have. I don't use this very often, but if it was somebody that didn't come here as regularly, then this would be a nice sheet to have just to write down all of our information so that way they have it. The next section is our routine. So I've already gone through all of these inserts on my first video. I can link that below. But basically we just have our daily routine listed, morning, afternoon, and evening routine, and then my end of month routine. So it just is nice to have that reminder. And then the next section is our cleaning. So I just have a spot where I put our daily, weekly, and monthly tasks. And then we have the days of the week broken down and what tasks I like to do on those days. A master home to-do list, and it's broken down by room, and I love this. I use this all the time. Sometimes it's overwhelming when you just write down an entire list of what needs to get done. So I like how this is broken down to different rooms. It's kitchen and dining room, living room, bathrooms, bedrooms, office, utility, and outdoors. So if I have a chunk of time and I know there's something that needs to get done, I can pick a room and just try to tackle one room at a time. It just really helps me focus that way and get things done faster. And then I have a home maintenance checklist. I just found this helpful because it kind of breaks down monthly, every 2 months, every 3 months, every 6 months, every spring, every fall, and annually. So it just gives you an idea of what you should be doing in these time frames. And then our next section is our meal planning section. So I have a place here that I keep all of our kitchen inventory, our pantry and cabinets, our fridge and freezer. So that way I can just do a quick glance at this, and after I've cleaned out my fridge and freezer and pantry, I know exactly what I need to stock up on. A list of favorite recipes. This again just helps me to do meal planning. If I just look at this list first, and know exactly, if I'm stumped and say, oh gosh, I don't know what to have on Thursday, I can just look at this and say, okay, well, this sounds good. It's just a nice reference. And then I have 2 different grocery lists that I like to print out. So this is the one that I use most often. It just has the days of the week. I like to write down what meals we're having and then our grocery list. And I usually write down a list according to the aisle. So I know I'm so used to our grocery store and I know where everything is. So it's easier for me to just use this one because I can just jot down where everything is, or, the items that I need in the order that they are in the store. But I also do have this grocery list, which is broken down by produce, meat and poultry, seafood, bakery, dairy, pantry, frozen, and miscellaneous. A new grocery store was just built in our town, and I love the grocery store. It's huge, it's awesome, but it was so frustrating for me to go in there at first because I had no idea where anything was, and it's hard for my mind to work in that way. I don't know. It's just, so for me to write down a list like this was easier at first, getting used to the new store, than this. I just couldn't really think about how to even make a grocery list because I couldn't picture where anything was in the store. Maybe I'm weird, I don't know, but that was just the way my brain works. And then the next section is our budget information. Now this is really just a general budget information. This is not necessarily a monthly. I do my monthly budgeting in my personal planner, but this is just, again, to give us a good idea about where we stand financially. So we have our bill pay master checklist. It has the due date here in the bill or expense, and then I can go ahead and just check it off as I pay it each month. A debt payment tracker, and then a savings log. So again, this is just like a master budget list. It doesn't necessarily break it down monthly, but I do like having everything in this one spot so that way we can just see overall what our finances look like and our goals. So that's our home management binder. I try to keep it super simple. It's basically just a master binder that anybody at any time can look in and know exactly how we run our household. So here is my personal planner. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you'll know that I am a planner addict. I absolutely love the planner community. I love getting into planners and talking about them and exploring new ones. I recently did a series about planners and I reviewed 3 different planners, the Erin Condren, the Lime Life, and the Plum Paper Planner. I decided to stick with the Plum Paper Planner as my primary planner this year because the setup of it and everything just works perfectly for me. So I'm just going to show you how I use this planner. I am using Erin Condren accessories, but with the Plum Paper inserts, if that makes sense. So this cover, this dashboard are all Erin Condren. A lot of the accessories that you see are from Erin Condren. They fit perfectly on the Plum Paper coil. I like having a laminated cover versus the paper cardstock cover that comes with the Plum Paper Planner. So I just snipped off my old cover, plopped this cover on, and I'm just going to show you how I have it set up. So the first thing here is this dashboard. Now I just use a wet erase marker, and if I have a long list of to-dos, I'll just write it down here and I can just focus on that, wipe it off, and then I'll be done with it. Opening it up, the first section here is sort of my dashboard. So again, this is from Erin Condren. They just came out with some new sticky notes. I loved them, and I saw on Instagram, I believe it was, somebody used, I think it was like a piece of cardstock and made it their dashboard, because this is just like a half page. So I just took the same idea, and this is actually a divider, I believe, or the back of a old cover I had, I'm not sure, but I just put it here, stuck some more sticky notes on there, and then on the back, and it's just sort of like my dashboard. Now I'm going to get into how I use the monthly layout first. I'm not going to really go into how the planner itself, the pages that are included, because I already did a review on that, so you can check that out. I'll try to link that video down below as well. But I'm going to get into the month of October so I can show you exactly how I use this, because I've already written in August and September. So the first page here, when you flip to the month, is a to-do list. I like to use this top section here as home, daycare, YouTube, and 31, and listing out everything that I want to accomplish for the month within those categories. Now on the back, there is another section of to-dos, and I use that if there's a birthday party that I need to plan, or a special collaboration video, or a 31 party or something like that. I use that to sort of plan those areas. And then there is a list of notes. The notes page is usually where I do a rundown of how I'm going to organize my daycare for that month. So the theme that we're working on, the letter, number, shape, color, and all the activities that I'd like to do within that month. And then you get into the monthly view. So Plum Paper Planner is set up where they have a birthdays, events, and notes section. I don't use the birthdays section because I just write in the birthdays within the month. So I use this as goals. So any goal that I really want to work on for that month, I list here. The events is where I list the 31 parties that I'm going to be having for that month. So if I'm at a party and somebody wants to book a party, a lot of times they don't have a specific date in mind right then and there, but they know the month they want to do it in, so I'll write their name there, and I know I need to follow up with them. It just helps me really focus on the parties I'm going to be having that month and who I need to follow up with, the hostess packets that I need to get out, and that sort of thing. And then down here in this note section is where I list all of the bills that we need to pay that month, and then it helps me disperse when they're due here, and just an overall budgeting. So I also use this area just to kind of get the budget for the month situated. I just use my monthly view as an overview. So anything going on that month, any events, major activities, parties, birthdays, you name it, just gets listed in here. It doesn't have a specific purpose, just an overall overview of the month. Now I'll show you how I use the weekly section. So this is what sold me for Plum Paper Planner. I have the family planner. There are different layouts that they offer. The family planner is really awesome because it comes with 7 different boxes that you can customize. So I have my boxes listed as today, daycare, home, to-do, YouTube, 31, and meals. Then there's also a little calendar up here, a weekly checklist, and a place for notes. So this was the perfect planner for me because I can fit all areas of my life into one planner. So I no longer have to have 5 different notebooks and, you know, that sort of thing. I can just have everything in one planner. So up here they have a little header for each day, and I actually use that for our daily spending. So it just helps me stay on track of how much I'm spending each day. It gives me a good visual. If I'm spending too much, I know I need to cut back. The today section is used to list any events going on that day. So anything, appointments, birthday parties, you name it, anything that's going on that day gets listed there. The rest of the areas, daycare, home, to-do, YouTube, and 31, is where I just list out my to-dos for the day within that category. And then the meals section is just where I plan out my meals for each week. I do use the weekly checklist as just an overall to-do list for things that don't necessarily have a specific day that they need to be designated to. So say I need to mail something, but I don't necessarily have to mail it on Monday. I can just write mail such and such and then plug it in on whichever day I can get it done. Same with the notes section. For the notes section, I use that for any journaling that I need to do for that week, any notes that I need to take pertaining to the week, and just a general, note section that pertains to the specific week that we're on. Now, moving back to the back of the planner, I have this divider here, which again is from Erin Condren, and just says notes. It's actually a divider, so I can easily write down any notes right here that I would like to take, and I usually use like a Sharpie pen and then just use an alcohol wipe to just erase it. These pages I haven't set up yet, but I'm planning on doing like a personal wish list, books that I want to read, and shows that I want to watch, shows and movies that I want to watch, and that sort of thing. And then we have, again, I haven't really set this up, special dates. And it just goes January through December. I'm not really sure if I want to do this as like specific goals for each month, or whether if I just want to use it as an overview of birthdays. And then I have passwords, which there are some passwords that I do want to write down here. I just haven't done it yet for the purpose of this video. And then contacts. I think I'm going to actually use this contact list for my daycare parents, so that way I can take this planner anywhere and have their contacts information right there. And then it has a list of holidays for 2015, 16, and 17. And then just an overview for 2017 over here, which I'm not really using that. And then it just has a for keeps pocket back here, which I, again, just stick random notes in there. And then I do keep a notepad in the back, so that way I can just take notes of anything that I need to and toss it when I'm done with it. And that is how I set up my personal planner. It is such an important tool for my overall organization. And again, it helps me run my household because I have a plan each day. So that's how we use our Family Command Center, our home management binder, and my personal planner. By having those 3 tools, it really helps us stay organized as a family and personally, and it helps me run our household a lot smoother. I would love to hear any tools that you use to help your household run smoothly. And thanks again so much for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.